be a net third once the two leaders pit. Bart Dude in the lead will probably pit and come out in the lead. He can have a cup of tea and a biscuit while he's in the pit lane. He's that far ahead. He's now 25 seconds clear of P2.
Jeez.
The lead car that has been in the pits is currently 33.5 seconds down from the leader, so it's a massive lead for the Sauber at the moment. The championship leader with the fastest lap, led every lap so far. It's a perfect race for Bart Dude. As Joe comes towards the end of sector 2 here, going to hit the wall again. He's got a bit of damage. Erlan is dropping back. Maybe he's doing the rear gunner roll for Toro Rosso to hold up Solanix. Goings and Solanix 20 points apart in the championship before this race, so they are definitely championship rivals. As Goings hits the wall again, Erlan is all over the place, and that's going to let the Force India right past. He might get both of them here. DRS wide open or Force India. It's not even a challenge. He's straight down it pass as Going pits. His race definitely ruined Ben for the amount of damage he was picking up on the front of the car. And that might... Wow, you know what? Joe's been jumped. Chris Johnson's just come out the pit lane in 3rd position, so the fight for the podium carries is back on, and still with 4 cars, but a couple of protagonists in this fight have changed round as Goings drops down the order. He looks to be about 11th position. Maybe he won't be 12th. Michael K's that far down as we see Chris Johnson out on fresh soft tyres just ahead of Joe, so he's got the jump on him in the stops. A good in lap by the Force India, a good stop for the Force India crew, helping their cause a lot there. Aiden still gets a pit. He might be on his way in now. He's got a 33.6 second lead, and the Sauber now comes into the pits from the lead.
Yep, as you say, you could have a cup of tea, a biscuit, and a bottle of Iron Brew as he comes into the pits with almost a 34-second lead over Chiapelli. Yeah, there's no contest there. He will come out in 2nd place as we continue to have a look at this fight for 4th. Chris for 3rd even, as Chris Johnson starts to pull away now from Joe, who has Surlane right behind, so he could gain 4th place out of this. We've still got about 4 laps to go now, so we'll see what he can do. There goes Aiden. He's already at turn 3 as those guys are entering turn 2. That is crazy, absolutely crazy. But we've got Joe and Surlane. Wow, Surlane must be running some low wings here. Really caught up to the back of Joe there. I wasn't expecting him to get that close, but Surlane is challenging Joe with Erland behind as Jack Pearson sets the fastest lap, a 1:43.0, as he tries to charge his way back through the field after losing his front wing. As I say that, he's binned it. Jack Pearson. Oh, disaster. The guy 2nd in the championship has binned it. Is that turn 2?
He's gone off at turn 2. I think he's turned in too early and hit the inside wall. The front left suspension is destroyed, and I can only assume he's turned in too soon and hit the wall, ruined his race, and that's really going to massively damage his championship hopes. That's now promoted Goings back into the damage his wing again, fight for 4th, so definitely has pulled away. As the Force India just seems to have so much straight line speed, he must be running low downforce like I said earlier. Anyway, let's see what he does around this last corner. He had a decent run. You can see the slipstream effect already taking place. He's already closing in. He's not even got to DRS yet. Now he does. As Jacka gets a penalty for speeding.
Look at the speed.
Just look at that. It's the equivalent of a 2017 Mercedes engine against a 2014 2015 Honda engine. Joe just has no straight line speed.
Or just a Honda engine in general, I guess you could have said there. But anyway, yep, Surlane comfortably ahead of Joe as we've got another.
It's just right.
As we still see Aiden out in the lead of the race. Lap 11 out of 13. And 3rd, oh, straight through the car of Michael. as Solane does seem to be catching Joe for that 5th place. And he is closing up now onto the back of Joe, as we get Mike running in 7th place with Mr. John in 8th, Baza 9th, and Goings rounds out the top 10. So 2 laps to go. I think our closest battle is still between Joe and Erland, as I think Joe must be running quite a bit of downforce now. Wow, Erland is close right on the back of him now, and again doesn't really seem to be a challenge there. So Joe must be running quite a bit of downforce, and it is affecting him on the start finish straight. So the man out in front, Aidan Griffiths, will be extending his championship lead at the moment at least by 25 points. He'll be taking it easy now, making sure not to damage his wing or even DNF, so yep, it's looking comfortable for him. But this man in second, Mr. Chiapelli, brilliant drive, just getting on with it, and is comfortably looking for that 2nd place. Chris Johnson got that undercut on Joe, and has pulled away ever since, but he does have Solane closing. I don't think he'll close quickly enough, but Solane definitely is on a mission. After that damage, he will be catching him, but there we go. Erland in 6th, got past Joe a couple laps ago and does seem to be now pulling away from him. And I've not really said much about Mike in 7th. He's had quite a quiet race, but he'll be looking to finish the race without any damage and score a good haul of points for Ferrari. Well, we'll go back now to the man that has comfortably led this whole race. At one point had a 30 second lead over 2nd, Aidan Griffiths. He wasn't really looking forward to the races tonight, he did say to me earlier, but yeah, it's been a really good drive for him. As John has said last week, he seems to be keeping his head a lot more this week, or this season, keeping out of crashes, not hitting the wall, and looks as if he could be on his way to the championship. But he's now coming round these last couple of corners, as we see Joe. Oh, Joe!
I'll tell you what, I wonder, sorry to interrupt there, I wonder if there's just been an incident there with Mike and Joe, because Mike had caught up. He was about a second and a bit down across the line. He caught right up to the back of that, and I was just looking just before that incident. Mike was locked up into the back of that Mercedes. I don't know if Joe spun round or if he was collected there. I think we'll find out after the race. But anyway, coming towards the finish line now. He's slowing right down a wee bit. He's taking this one in. It's a massive boost for championship hopes. Bartu wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and he has dominated his rivals here today. Chiapelli coming across the line then in 2nd place, 9 seconds off. Although you have to say he's probably found about 3 or 4 at the end from the backing off that. Bartu did. Chris Johnson's going to take home 3rd position and a brilliant podium, having started all the way down at P11, which is a great result for him in the Force India. So Lanix will rue what might have been down in 4th. Erdan up 14th to 5th, and a great result for him, some solid points. Mike takes home 6th position after being spun around the turn 1. Mr. John, a quiet but consistent performance for him in his favourite position, 7th. Baza, who lost his wing early on while ahead of Joe, could have had a chance of a podium had he kept it all together. He's down in 8th. Goings has had a disaster of a race. He had a quality ban, started at the back, lost his wing twice. He finishes 9th. And Jacko will come across the line in P11. He will not get onto the last lap to take that 10th off Joe. So Joe will take a point from this Grand Prix. And that is your Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Yeah, full of instant and drama as we expected. But I don't think we quite expected Aidan Griffiths to be as dominant as that. We thought Jack would have put up a fight there, but Aidan is celebrating on that podium. Another win, and championship, extending his championship lead. As I think now we move on to the Italian Grand Prix next. We'll see what happens there. But for now at least, Aidan is happy, celebrating on that podium, and will take victory and the full 25 points. As he'll do the full rundown. It's Bartwood that takes victory from Chiapelli in second. Chris Johnson up from 11th, takes third with Sirlein in fourth. Erland, a great drive up from 14th to finish fifth, with Mike in sixth. Mr. John in his favourite position in seventh. Baza in eighth. Goings in ninth. And Joe will take the last point despite DNFing. 11th for Jacko. Michael, Jack Pearson, James, Wace round out the order. So let's see what the Italian Grand Prix brings before we then head back to another street circuit of Singapore. But yeah, there was some really good drives in that race. Up from the back of the grid, Erland and was it Sirlein?
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson.
Chris
yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah, I knew there was a force in there.
And also you have to give a shout out for Aidan. That was a perfect performance. He did express doubt just before the lobby tonight that he wouldn't be that competitive, but he is either he was underplaying himself or he was just trying to keep it calm and cool. A perfect race, really. The only blight on his record there was that Jack managed to get the fastest lap. Although, to be fair, Jack had bolted on a new set of super softs before promptly bidding it in the water turn 2. So, on to Italy then. The home of the Tifosi, the fastest circuit on the F1 calendar, and we are no doubt going to see an exciting race. I think, well, the Tifosi will be putting their hope in Mike, who is the only Ferrari here tonight. Although you have to say, with the season Ferrari are having at the moment, you can't really expect much. For tonight's races, Ferrari had only racked up 76 points. Mike's added a few more to that, but you'd have to say, considering he was a few people tipping him, and maybe Dom as early title contenders, Ferrari just have not performed that well. Mixture of bad luck, poor results. One particular moment being Mike getting pole in Austria and promptly disconnecting before the race had even begun. Definite heavy blow for him. Hopefully this will be the Grand Prix where Ferrari's hopes change and they get a famous win in front of their home crowd. Anyway, we are seemingly just 20 seconds away now from entering lobby 4 around number 14, I believe it is, of the season. Season absolutely flying by. You'd have to say Aidan's win last time might just be a fatal blow in the championship battle as far as Jack's concerned, who is now, I believe, some 42 points off.
Yep, 17 points off going into that round, so yep, he will now be 42 as you said. But we'll see if he can claw back any of that deficit here at the Italian Grand Prix. Very similar in a way to the Baku circuit, long straights, and you don't really need much downforce here, so we'll see what happens. But I think your best bet for the Italian guys here, Jonas, will be Chiapelli. Seems to be on a roll at the moment, and we'll see if he can take victory at Monza. But first of all, we need to get through this qualifying session, and who knows, we might even have some wet weather. We're just waiting for the guys to ready up before we get the qualifying session underway. And it does look
a bit grey and murky, isn't it? after overcast conditions there at Monza, that might just catch a few people out in the braking zones, as happened in the past. Even the slightest bit of change in temperature can have a massive effect on tyre performance and car performance, as we've seen in real life. 10 seconds away then from the start of the one-shot quali.
Yep, indeed. We will ride on board. Let's see who we can ride on board this time with. Let's go with Wace in the Haas. Do something different this time out. Wace in the Haas, as I said, coming down the start-finish straight. In the very tricky braking zone here. You're coming from what? About 200 or so miles an hour. And it's so easy to ride those curves, and I think he just about gets away with that. Currently in second at the moment. As we're coming round the Curva Grande. Absolutely brilliant corner. We've seen a lot of side-by-side action here in the past. As again, down into another chicane. So easy to ride the curbs here and go wide. But Wace is absolutely nailing this lap. As we come down into the Lesmos. We've seen Lewis Hamilton go wide here a couple of years ago and end up in the wall. But Wace has done that pretty well. Oh, and he's gone into the gravel. That's pretty much that lap over now. As I was just about to say, it's so easy to run wide there. And he does exactly that. But we will keep on board with him just now as we come up to the Ascari corner. That looks pretty well done from Wace. Slides a bit on the exit. As at the moment, Goings is looking to be on pole position. Go around the final corner. And we're still on board with Ace here. He will come across the line, looks to be in 6th place. But there we go. It is Goings that takes pole position for the Italian Grand Prix. We'll give you the rundown in just a second. There we go. So it's Goings that takes pole position from Jack Pearson. Crucially, he's ahead of Aiden, who's in 3rd place, with Mike giving the Tifosi something to cheer about in 4th, with Chiapelli in 5th, Chris Johnson in 6th. On the soft tires, it has to be said, Wace in 7th. It wasn't a good lap until the exit of Lesmo 2, with Joe in 8th, Baza starting on the softs again in 9th, and Jacko rounds out the top 10. So, probably one of the most dangerous turn ones, if you like. A lot of accidents and incidents happen there. And if I'm correct, I think was it Tony Oliuzzi in the HRT a couple of seasons ago? That was on the grass?
Yeah, back in 2011. Yeah, I think he got nudged out wide, spun around, and became forming equivalent of a bowling ball against a load of Skittles as he wiped out half the midfield. I think it was the likes of Rosberg and Petrov who had their race promptly ended by a flying HRT at the first chicane. It's very easy to get it wrong. It's happened so many times in the past. Just coming from 7th or 8th gear straight down to 1st gear, tight chicane, very easy to get it wrong. Anyway, here we go then. Cars now on the grid, lights forming.
Indeed, we'll get ready for the start. And it's lights out and away we go. Goins gets a good start. Jack Pearson tucked up behind as we see Mike there trying to pull out, but I think Bart Dude is going to try, and he doesn't go, so it's status quo. Oh, it's a bit of contact. Who was that? There was a red pill there hit the side of Aiden.
It looked like Chiapelli going into the back of Jack at the first chicane. As it looks like, apart from that, everyone's got away cleanly, so that's a good start, of course. Goings had a great start, to be fair. He's already pulled out a second over Jack in 2nd. He's got Bartu, Chiapelli having a look down the inside. We've got a spinning Haas. That must be Wace going off there. He's facing backwards at the 2nd chicane. A disaster for him. It's all gone a bit wrong for him. Yeah. He's got a lot of work to do to catch up the order.
Yeah, it was looking good for him in qualifying, but ever since that 2nd sector, his weekend has been turned upside down. But as you say, Goings has had a really good start. As we see another yellow oh! Is that Michael off into the gravel again? And for the 2nd race in a row, he'll need to come in now and change that front wing. But yep, as you said, Goings got a really good start there. But Aiden is now ever so slightly catching him. Jack's ever so slightly catching him.
Yeah, the top 3 have all closed up as Mike's just gone round the outside of Chiapelli into the parabolica. That was an impressive move. Chiapelli has got damage. He's trying to stay out and risk it though, but he is a cork in the bottle, as it were, as Chris Johnson, some of the company running outside down straight towards turn 1. I think he's going to get that move done quite easily. Chiapelli a late break though, might try and hold the position on the inside, and he does. A little bit of contact, but nothing too serious, and he holds on to 5th position. Meanwhile, a few cars running wide at the, cutting across the first chicane. Azza was one of them. I think there might have been a McLaren in there, as Michael Kenny comes to the pit lane early on. Meanwhile, Going still holds the lead from Jack Pearson. Bartu, there's a 2.5 second gap between the top 3 and the rest of the Scobbling pack. So Lennox has just dropped down the order. We've lost Goings. He's gone off. He's done a Hamilton in 2009. He's gone off at the first. There's a moment, gone bang into the wall. It's a disaster for him. He had the lead. He's thrown it all away, and any faint championship hopes he had are all but gone with that. A huge shame for the pole sitter, as he really is. The first retirement from the Italian Grand Prix. So now, the 2 title contenders are back in 1st and 2nd. Mike Noon now up to 3rd in the Ferrari, so Ferrari having a little something to cheer about on this dreadful season for him. As Joe looks to run a bit wide. Well, actually, I say that like was going wide, it was Chris Johnson going wide. Forced into in 5th, so Joe's going to have a run for 5th position now. Down the straight, DRS now enabled, but not active yet, just for these cars. As the Mercedes are forcing to go side by side, it's almost like a role reverse of the Baku. The Mercedes now has all the straight line speed. Joe makes a move on the inside. Chris Johnson not having any of it. He's actually forced Joe Whiting into a spin. Ooh.
Yeah, that's Joe.
It's a bit of a racing incident, I'd have to say. Chris trying to defend his position. Joe going for the move. It just didn't quite stick. Meanwhile, we've got James and Sir Lennox fighting for 7th. Mr. John just behind. Bazza just a little bit ahead of them. We've got Chiapelli on his own in 4th. Even with the front wing damage, he's managing to stay in a competitive position. As Chris Johnson down in 5th now. As Bazza just has a huge moment at the second as well. And then a gaggle of cars all the way down to Joe. Well, Erland in 12th. Joe's a little bit adrift in P13. Michael Kenny, having already stopped, is down at the first chicane in 14th. Anyway, at the front.
Oh, Baz, sorry to interrupt. Baz just went literally straight on at Ascari there. I'm not sure what happened there. That was a strange incident. Just literally went straight on. I wonder if he got on the curb there and just went straight on, but that was very strange, and he's lost his front wing, so Baz will probably be pitting into this lap.
I've just gone back to the front 2, and Jack getting the car up in 3 wheels round the first chicane there. Really attacking the curb. Aiden has closed right up due to DRS. He was just inside that 1 second at the detection point. He's now only a 10th. He might be going down the inside here to the second chicane. He thinks better of it. Jack holds the position. Meanwhile, Bazza pits with the damage. I was going to say, with the way you were mentioning how he's got straight on, it was almost like Canoassis and GBT that one time, PlayStation in it through the chicane as Will Buxton put it at the time. Meanwhile, down into the second DRS zone on the track, Aiden will be looking to have a good run up towards Ascari. Probably not the best place to make an overtake, but if you've got the place enough to do it, you can. Not on this occasion for the championship leader as he sits back and just follows Jack through Ascari down towards the Parabolica now, lining up for the next chance, which will be just after the world famous Parabolica corner. Shame it got the tarmac run off the last few years. The gravel really made a challenge of the corner. But anyway, here we are then, back onto the pit straight. Jack holds the lead, 3.5 temps. Aiden on the last lap gained 7 temps down the straight. He's going to be having a look for sure down to turn 1. Jack covers the inside line. Aiden looks to go to the outside. He's going for the outside, but he backs it off and sits back as Jack bounces over the curves. They make contact. Aiden lucky not to go in the gravel there, and Jack will just put away a little bit as Chiapelli and Waste come in for early pit stops. It's front wing change for Waste, the damage he picked up at the first corner, while Waste, it's just a tyre stop. He's actually going to jump Chiapelli, you know, and he does. He'll be coming out in P11 and P12. A good stop for Haas as Mike gets a penalty for, I'm going to assume, corner cut in.
Yep.
That would not surprise me. Good news for him is he's almost 6 seconds clear of 4th place already. He's only got a 3-second penalty. But not something you want to pick up early in the race.
No, for sure. And I tell you what, the front two have closed up again. So Aiden is, at the moment, you would say he's probably looking the quicker out of the two drivers. Well, we'll know Jack will not make it easy for Aiden, especially with the bad luck Jack's been having. He'll not want to let Aiden through, but I can just sense something happening at turn 1 here. It's almost like as I think Aiden decided was about to come in the pits there. That's strange.
I think he might have been trying to dummy Jack there just to throw him off. But anyway, Jack takes the inside line yet again as Mike comes in from 3rd. Aiden go for the outside again. This time he's committed more to it. Jack's just going to shut the door at the second chicane, and there's the contact. Oh.
Yep.
Jack lucky not to spin round there. Very lucky indeed.
Yeah, like I said, I could just sense something there, and yep, indeed it happened at turn 1, but they've come out unscathed, so I can just sense this battle's... Oh, is Jack has gone very wide there. Can't even go up the inside of the Lesmo one. And, oh, Jack is not giving this up. This is brilliant between the two championship contenders. And Jack has stayed ahead, but Aiden will be on his tail now as we enter the DRS zone. It'll take a brave man to throw it up the inside of Jack. It's scary. Well, Aiden attempt it. I think he is going to do it. And yep, Aiden is through into the lead of the race. And these guys just don't want to give up fighting. Jack is now, as we see a good aerial shot there, they're now coming up to the Parabolica pretty much near enough side by side. And Jack and Bart Dude closes that door off. Will any of these guys pit this lap? And both of them do. That's interesting. They both get it slowed down. So now it will be a race between the mechanics. We'll stay on board with Jack at the moment. As he gets his tyre changed, he's now on the softs. Where is Aiden?
Aiden also on the softs, and he comes out ahead. Just about. That was very close, but Sauber get the job done. Just holding off the Mercedes in the pit, and battle will surely resume into the second stint as Chris Johnson now leads in the 14th ahead of James, who, you've got to give a bit of credit for James here. He started all the way down in 15th position and now finds himself fighting for, well, for the moment it's a lead. It obviously won't be unless something drastic happens between the two championship contenders who resume their battle down in 7th and 8th. They will counter traffic, and the first car up is a Mercedes. So maybe Joe will do the wingman job that he tried to do in Baku.
Yeah, we'll need to wait and see. But yep, Chris Johnson currently leads from James, who, as you said, if we take a wee look here at the position change, is up 13 positions. That is incredible.
I've just been informed there is a possibility of rain before the end of this Grand Prix, so that might just shake things up a little bit. I don't know if it will definitely happen. I've seen it before in the past where there's a threat of rain and it always happens to fall just as the race ends. I've been caught in a rain shower after the British Grand Prix myself once. Not fun. Meanwhile, Joe, well, he's not going to play the wingman role because he's bolted it into the pit lane. As Jack is on the, you know what, he's on the run here, he's having a look. Aiden covering the inside, Jack looks to go to the outside as Mike sets fastest lap of the race. He's only 3 seconds off these two now. They're squabbling, he's letting that Ferrari close in. Yeah,
we can see Mike closing up towards the end of the race, but at the moment it's Jack and Aiden trying to go side by side through Cover Grande. We've seen Vettel and Alonso, I think it was, going side by side through. As Jack does, yeah, Jack's through. Great move there on Aiden. And as Mike is now only just about 1.5 behind these two. So a couple more corners of these guys fighting, and Mike will be right there.
Jack is very slow out the second chicane, out the second Lesmo there as well. Aiden's right with him now as Mr. John gets a penalty. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, and it's the Sauber of AFCB James. That's a disaster. He was doing so well, but it's all gone wrong for him. As out of Ascari come the 2 leaders, Jack right on the edge of the track on both sides. That was a very nervy moment. And Mike has lost a lot of time. I think he's made a mistake in Ascari, which is a shame because he was closing right up. But these two still squabbling away as Erlang gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's now in the pits. He's out of the way. James is out of the way as well. So the cars on the alternative strategy are clearing the road for the 2 championship contenders. As Jack has got the speed advantage. He won't have the inside line. Aiden covers it off well if he has to sit back for another lap.
Indeed, I think this battle's probably going to go on right to the checkered flag. We've only got 4 laps to go now, as Aiden and Jack are still nose to tail entering the second chicane. I think Jack might have touched the back of Aiden there, but no damage from that. As we enter the 2 Lesmos, there's a yellow in sector 1. That must be
Jacko facing the wrong way. Another mistake for him. Bit of a disaster this season for him. He's had so many incidents and so many spins. Yeah, he was only 4 points off his teammate in the championship, who has been a lot more consistent in my eyes. Meanwhile, the 2 leaders, the 2 net leaders, still close together. Like Aiden's starting to pull away there. As we've got a yellow flag out, I think we've lost Wace. Yep, he's spun it round. He's actually not out of the race, but down the order, and a disaster for him. He'll be passed by James for P10 and the final point. Meanwhile, the 2 Force Indies are still out on lap 10. Very interesting strategy for them. Mr. John comes in for 3rd.
Yeah, unless they are banking on the rain happening within the next lap or 2, and maybe they're hoping for inters, but as you say, with this game it normally happens in the last lap and it's not really that heavy, so yeah, interesting.
It's a tactic I've tried before in Austria and it backfiring. The rain did not come in time, so they're going to need to come in and put some super softs on. You'd have to say that if it hasn't fallen by now, it probably won't at all.
Yeah.
As Aiden just runs wide at the second chicane, and Mike gets another penalty. He's just dropping back now. I think his tyres might be dropping off. He was one of the first cars in, I believe. As Jack is just sitting on the back, as well, I say sitting on the back, he probably makes the mistake and drops down a little bit.
Yeah, you can just sense that Jack is over driving. Would you say? He's on the grass and just losing out of corners. It looks as if he's on the ragged edge.
I think he's trying very, very hard to make up for the disaster of Baku. He needs to strike a massive hit on Aiden's points gap, but it's, as you see him just dive into the parabolic and he's got away with it. He's closing a fair bit, but he knows he needs to win races, and he needs to take chunks out of the championship lead as quickly as possible, with only a couple of weeks remaining after this week. And yeah, he is on the ragged edge, but he's got to be. If he just sits and accepts second, he may as well give up on trying to win the title here and now. As we're on it's 3 laps to go now, and Solanix did come in. He's come out in what will be a net 4. Chris Johnson still going round on the soft tyres. He's now he's 14 seconds clear of the leaders, but that won't be enough for stops. Jack gets a time penalty.
Yeah, that could be the deciding factor now. I don't think Aiden's got any penalties, so that's going to make Jack even more determined now to get past Aiden. And he's literally...
Absolutely. Here we go.
Yep, on the run down to Ascari with the DRS open. Can Jack try round the outside? He cannot.
I'm going to say Aiden, brilliant with car position now. He had it set to he had it on the inside from early on. As the rain begins to fall now, I've just seen spots of rain on the camera. I think it's just started at the end of the penultimate lap. Sorry, at the start of the penultimate lap, sorry. Chris Johnson just started lap 12. As Jack has gone clean, running outside of Parabolica. That's... What a move. Maybe Aiden's aware of the penalty and just decided to accept the... concede the position there just to let Jack have... Well, he'll win the race on the road, but he won't win the race because of the penalty. Maybe caught his attention, maybe a little bit of mental rain. Sometimes the rain starts to fall on the driver's visor and it just makes him a bit more cautious. As Jack Well, Jack's got to build a 3-second lead in a lap and a half now. As Chris Johnson's still going round in the lead, he's probably going to try and pit for Inters this lap, you know, but it won't do anything as Mike is right on the ragged edge in what will be third. In fact, will it be third? He's got a 6-second penalty. He's only 6.0 something ahead of Sir Lannex. So he might just lose the podium there, as Aiden is closing on Jack again. He ran a bit wide at second. Lesmo down towards Ascari. He's not going to be anywhere near, but can he just put the pressure on a little bit on the last lap? Just make Jack make a silly mistake like in Baku? Who knows? Meanwhile, Chris has got to be coming in this lap. Here he goes. Left at the last possible moment.
Yeah, but it is starting to get a little bit greasier out there now. The rain is falling a little bit heavier, so these guys will need to watch what they are doing on this final lap. But yeah, I think that's exactly what Aiden was doing, just letting Jack through it. And obviously with the slipstream and DRS here, it's pretty easy to keep up with the guy in front.
Just out of interest, Chris Johnson went onto the super soft tyres as Mike's got straight on at the first chicane, you know. So the rain is starting to have an effect, especially on cars with older tyres. So maybe the Force Inters will just catch and just take that last podium spot due to Mike's time penalty. Jack leads. He's just got deep in the second chicane, and Aiden will be close. Will he risk a move? That's the question. Obviously, he might not be aware of Jack having a penalty. As far as he knows, they're fighting for a race win. As far as we know, after the commentary box, it's all but over, and Aiden has it in the bag. As Bazza gets his second 3-second time penalty for the race, and Chiapelli in 7th has just had a moment in the gravel and lost 6th position to Erlan. Aiden sits on the back of Jack. We're coming for a sky for the last time. It's a run down towards Parabolica. Jack runs wide. Aiden's touched. It's like they're going to be side by side down to the Parabolica on the last lap of the race.
Yep.
Who will blink first? They seem to blink at the same time now. Aiden's going to run it a bit wide due to where he was on the track. Is he going to try and get the cut back, get the run towards the line? He won't do it, but he will take the win due to Jack's penalty. There we go. Aiden wins the Italian Grand Prix by 2.7 seconds. He didn't get it on the road, but he got it. Well, he got it due to the stewards intervening with Jack's earlier misdemeanors on regards to corner cutting. I can tell you, Sir Lannex has taken, well, he's actually taken 3rd place on the track. Chris Johnson 4th, Mike 5th. Mike actually between the two Force Inters at the end, so maybe he lost it on the last lap. Erlan takes 6th ahead of Chiapelli. Jose takes 8th, 9th for Mr. John. James takes the final point, and Baz across the line 11th. Mike will take the line in 12th, and we have Wace and Jacko up the back of the field, going to the only retiree for the race. As you know what, there's been a big spin after the race for Erlan, who's just gone off into the gravel at Curva Grande, spun round and helped a bit by, I believe it was Mercedes and Joe Sayer. That was an interesting one.
Yep, as he
So
said.
Michael Hamilton, Weiss has stopped. He's actually stopped. Please tell me he's not going to do donuts. I hope he's parked it. I don't know what he's doing there. Jacko takes P13 then, ahead of Weiss.
Yeah, I'm not sure what is Waste doing. Okay, yeah. So Aiden takes the victory at Monza after Jack Pearson's 3-second penalty. He wouldn't have known that, but he will be thrilled with that. Another 7 points extension on his championship lead as we wait for the podium. So that's Aiden's 2nd race win of the night so far, with Jack Pearson in 2nd and Sir Lane in 3rd.
Yeah, but another great win for Aiden. He didn't win on the track, but he didn't need to in the end due to Jack's penalties. He just kept it calm and steady behind on the last few laps in the increasing rain, and he takes the top step. His 9th win of the season. He is starting to run away with his championship now. The gap up to 49 points over Jack, and you'd have to say Jack really the only contender at this point.
Yeah,
so there we are then. Here's the results.
Indeed, so Aiden takes the victory with Jack Pearson in 2nd. Sir Lane, another good result there, up from 11th to take 3rd with his teammate Chris Johnson in 4th. Mike will just be disappointed with that. He finishes in 5th with Erland in 6th. Chiapelli finishes in 7th with Joe in 8th. Mr. John in 9th with James in 10th, who's left the session. Baza, Michael, Jacko, Waze and Goings round out the order. So I think now we are heading to Singapore, and what I've been told, Jonas, is going to be a day race, is that correct?
Yep, that was the announcement earlier in the season that the night race in Singapore would become a day race for this season. And just something to spot on the results screen, after the flag it looked like Mike was between the Force Indians, but he did indeed cross the line ahead of both, only to have a penalty putting him behind them both in the order. So just in case Mike watches back and starts to complain about being behind the Force Indians, he was not up the line, but penalties happened and down the order we went. So yeah, Singapore then, the last race of the evening, another tricky street race. If I remember correctly, the longest race of the season.
Yeah, indeed. And obviously with it being a day race, the drivers won't be as used to this as they would have been at night, obviously, so it'll be interesting to see who copes with the warmer conditions the best in this race. Obviously Singapore is a warm place, but even warmer during the day. As we now wait, we get the drivers who have disconnected into the lobby, and we will get this final race of the night underway. It's been a great ride. I can't even speak. It's been a great night of racing so far, and I'm sure the Singapore Grand Prix will provide yet another fantastic race, as I think there's some fans in the background barking. Obviously somebody's excited to get the Singapore Grand Prix underway. But yep, as we said, it will be a day race, and it will look quite different. Obviously we've not had a day race at Singapore for since we've never had a day race actually. It's FP1 that's normally a day, isn't it?
Yeah. We've had a few day races in the Sports Series in the past. I remember infamously the race winner one year in GP2 crashing on the slowdown lap, where the top 3 are made to do a lap of honour, and the cars off the podium were brought into support pit lane, and as the marshals wait from one car in, the race leader just straight up T-boned him on the slowdown lap. So it's very easy to lose concentration here in Singapore. It's the longest race of the season, like we said before, and with the walls in close proximity, it's very easy to make a little mistake that can end your day a bit early, and definitely something you don't want to do.
No, definitely not. And so far tonight we've not actually had a safety car yet, so maybe with these walls being so close tonight we might get one here. But 10 seconds left until the qualifying gets underway. One shot qualifying on a circuit like this, it's very easy to make a mistake, so full concentration will be needed as we will go on board this time with, let's have a look, we will go with Aiden this time, if we can get on board with him. He's falling down the order. There he is, coming through first couple of corners. This looks very strange in the daily, I'm not going to lie, as he's now coming up into the straight before the end of the first sector. DRS wide open, as they're heading up to this tricky braking zone. So easy to run wide here, but I think Aiden has done that pretty well. Indeed he has. And all these some of these corners are pretty much this first sector is quite flowing, especially coming through here as we head down to where the Singapore sling used to be. I loved that corner, to be honest, but a lot of drivers didn't. Aiden has done that pretty well in new section as we head over the bridge into this hairpin. And he's on a very cool lap, it has to be said. Let's just get the times up. We'll get, there we go. He's doing third gear through there. as I think Baza has retired. He must have crashed somewhere. And we all know this section, very famous section where Nelson Piquet crashed off and allowed Alonso to win that year. As you can just hear Aiden feathering the throttle. So easy just to lose the back end and hit the wall, but he's done that very well. As he's now coming around the final corner and on for another pole position. There we go. Oh, that's very close there. Wow.
He's taken it by a quarter of a tenth there, it looks like, over Goings. It looks to be taking it a little easy in the last sector even there. Maybe that allows Goings to close right in. Only 10 cars sitting times then. Have a quick rundown of the order for you. Bartu takes yet another pole position ahead of Goings. Jack third, 4 tenths off, and then a big gap to Waste in fourth for second down, ahead of Solanix and the Force India on the Super Softs. Mike in sixth for Ferrari. Joe in seventh, 8th for Chris Johnson. Force India playing the Super Soft game against everyone else's Ultra Soft yet again. Mike went 9th, Mr. John 10th, and no times for Erland, Baza, Chiapelli, and Jacko.
Yep, indeed. So we'll wait now for the start of the race, and this one should be an absolute thriller. With the walls being so close, as we said many times before, one slight mistake and it could be game over. Obviously Jack Pearson will need to keep out of the wall more than anybody tonight, as he trails Aiden even further. He starts in third, I think it was, so he's not that far behind. And we'll be looking to challenge. He does have the pace to challenge Aiden, and we'll see if he can do that today. As we now get ready for the race start. It's the final race of the night. And it's lights out and away we go. Bartwood gets a good start. Going slots in behind. As we see Jack going for the move up the inside, he backs out of that one. As we see quite a lot of movement down the back, but I think everybody's got through there pretty close. Oh, as we see, what was that? That was a Mercedes. But I think everybody's got through cleanly. Very clean at the moment. It's good stuff. As Sir Lane and Waze do battle into this tricky corner here, with Mike running a bit wide there, but he has slotted in behind these guys. As yeah, it seems to be a pretty clean start from everybody.
One thing I did notice, just into turn 3, the right-hander Waze did pick up some damage, just caught the wall. Very briefly, I saw the Mercedes Jack in the air. I think that might just been a bit of lag. I doubt he was actually too leading that one at the start of the race. But yeah, a clean start for most, if not all. With little impact for Waze. He's clogging it up a little bit as Mike disconnects again. His unfortunate season takes another unfortunate turn as Joe goes down the inside away. Solanix going for 5th position, doesn't quite pay off. There's a bit of a gap forming now between the top 3 and the rest of the field yet again, just like in Italy. Waste is the next car of the pack in 4th, but he's already 2 seconds down as Mike drops down the order after his disconnection. I think he might have disconnected down, judging by my PSN status thing there. As Ada takes fastest lap, and we have a fight for second. Jack Daly inside, takes P2 off the Toro Rosso, runs a bit wide at exit turn 1. It's a bit cheeky, but he won't get in serious trouble for that. As the Red Bull of Baza pits with damage. Another unfortunate race for him, it looks like. And Jacko as well gets a, well, Jacko already, I'm sorry, I thought it's a speeding penalty, it's a time penalty for corner cutting on the second lap of the race. That is not good news.
No, definitely not. So Aiden has had a good start out in the front of the field as Mike rejoins, hopefully can get back in his car. We've got Jack and Goings having a little tussle for that second place. Jack got past them at turn 1 as we've got a yellow flag.
It's Jacko again, and I don't even know where he's gone there. I think it's the end of sector 1, start of sector 2 there, he's gone off, but he's out of the race. His poor season continues as yellow flags are up in sector 2. Still no safety car though. it seems to be a little bit shy this season, doesn't it? As Aiden now has a 2.5 second lead, near enough already over the tussling duo fighting for second. So come out the infamous PK corner, as I like to call it. So coming under the stand, basically, the little tunnel there, and then these right, left, right, 90-degree corners before the last double apex left-hander, really, onto the main straight, and to start a new lap. DRS now activated to lead us, that's lap 3 at 1:41.3, fastest lap for Bartley in the Sauber. As Weiss pits, he's lost his front wing by the looks of it, or he's severely damaged it enough that he has to come into the pits. So his luck hasn't improved either, it looks like, as Mike, we can see, has returned and is back in the race in P12, now P11. He's not that far adrift of the rest of the pack, so that's good news for him, I guess. Goings has a look a little bit here for Jack's second place. He's actually hit the back of it, damaged his wing. He's got that close. But yeah, that's not going to help his cause at all. Jack a little bit twitchy in the curb there as they continue to fight for second place. So Lennox in fourth ahead of Joe, second for Lucas Johnson, Mr. John in his favourite position, and Chiapelli, who is making some early moves up the field, already up 5 places, and I've jinxed him because he's got straight into the wall and damaged his wing. My commentator's curse is working wonderfully today. Erlan in 9th, Michael Kenny having a good run early on in 10th, Mike at 11th, having disconnected and rejoined. We've got Weiss and Bazza, who've both pitted, and our early retiree of Jacko.
Yeah, indeed. So let's just have a quick look at the position changer on lap 3. There's not really been many movers. Chiapelli is up 5 positions, as we've now got another yellow flag. Who's that for? Let's have a look down the field. Strange. Couldn't really see.
Think. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong screen. I was going to say I thought it might have been going, so it was saying he was 4 seconds off Jack, but it was actually the wrong set, and I had it set to lead on the interval. I think it might be Michael Kenny has hit the wall because he has dropped to 11th and half his front wing is missing. So, yeah, both the guys I've praised early on in this race have both suddenly been hit by damage. So, I think I should stop talking. But as a commentator, I can't do that, or else I would be fired.
Yeah, to be honest, I curse a lot of people, so yeah, it's not really a good combo, is it? But hopefully no one else will suffer, as Aiden is absolutely dominating this race again at the moment. 3 seconds out in front of Jack. Oh, and he slid Jack's in the wall. Jack is in the wall. Just as I was about to say. And the curse continues. Jack has now damaged his wing and is in 6th place. I'm really sorry, Jack. If you watch this back, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. But that promotes Goings up into 2nd and Sir Lane in 3rd. Again, on the alternate strategy on these super softs. And to be honest with you, he's not far behind. There we go. Joe is in 4th place with Chris Johnson also doing the super soft to ultra soft strategy. In 5th with Jack. So let's just have a look right on board with him. He has got a little bit of front wing damage, but I wouldn't say enough really to pit at the moment. He is coming up to the pit lane now, let's see. And just to prove me wrong, he does come into the pits. He'll put on the super softs, you would think, to the end. Looks as if his mechanics are bringing out those tyres. Indeed, that is what he will go on. But yeah, you've got to feel sorry for Jack. No matter what he does, he always seems to... He's probably one of the...
Michael Kenny in the wall at the end of Sector 2. It was such a gentle impact as well. That is a bizarre accident.
That is not nice to look at.
He's barely touched the wall. That's the thing. I just caught him just on board, and he was just going very slowly into that wall, and it's just knocked the suspension off. A bizarre little failure there for the running suspension, and that's the end of his race. Erlan has also come in. I think he might have had damage, so my curse continues. Weiss has Well, I think he's the first of the guys that was in. He's in ninth. Gia Petty's got damaged to his car. Jack's already pitted having damage. You know what? Goings has got damage now as well. Mike's got a time penalty. It's all going wrong. What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, as I've said before, it looks so much different during the day. All your references are sort of out of place. Do you think that could be affecting, or do you think it's just a case of pushing too hard?
It's probably a mixture of both. It is different going around this circuit in the daytime. It's not something they're really used to, but at the same time, it's even the tiniest mistake is punished severely at this circuit compared to other places with massive runoff like your Abu Dhabis. So, yeah, it's Goins has got a speeding penalty as well. It's just all going wrong for him there.
Boom, boom.
As Mike comes into the pit, he's run wide a little bit. He gets the car slowed down at least, so no penalty for him. That's good news. Meanwhile, Mr. John just caught the wall there as I got on board with him, so he's got a bit of damage in fifth. And we've got a fight for third at least. Joe versus Chris. It seems the Force India and the second Mercedes just seem to be entwined together tonight. In all three races, they've been together on the track. Joe defended again from the Force India, hopefully not like Baku where he was just slaughtered down the straights. And easy pickings for the Force India cars.
Yeah, indeed, as you say, these guys have been locked together all night. I think Jack has got past Wace for 8th position. As they're going, well, they're still going side by side. Sorry, Jonas, they're still going side by side. But I think Jack has finally got that position.
No, I was just going to say they were just going to be side by side, like you mentioned. So. Now he's about interrupting there. Meanwhile, the Force India Chris right on the back of Joe now for third, and the last podium spot.
Indeed, these guys through the oh, it's Joe. That was a very strange incident from Joe. Just seemed to not turn. That was strange.
It was almost like he dropped the back end or something. The car just suddenly pitched off to the right, it looked like on my screen. It's almost like he's being told to intentionally crash at that corner. Where have we heard that before? Anyway, Joe, lucky not to get any damage. He's lost third, but he is still in the race. As Mr. John gets a speeding penalty in fifth. He's in the pits now. Look, going to seventh ahead of Jack. So, from their pit stops, it's gone well for Toro Rosso. Although he's got to... Oh, Jack's actually coming again, you know. I think he's got more damage. He's damaged the front wing again, that's why. So, it's just turning into a disaster for some of these guys today. I was just going to say the gap between Goings and Chris Johnson is about 24 seconds, around about that for a stop, so that's going to be close up when the pit stops play their part for the front runners. Although that's, oh no, I think that, yeah, you know what, I think that Force Hitsy also got some damage. We've said it's easy to get damage on this circuit from the tiniest of mistakes. It just seems to be affecting most of the runners. They're definitely getting caught as.
Oh.
Joe is now on the wall in fourth position.
Yeah.
I have no words for how easily these drivers are getting caught out by the track conditions. I don't, as Mike gets to speak, I don't know if the track is just bizarrely greasy or if the temperature's just really off. I mean, even on board with the race leader there, he's sliding a bit from turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, no.
Joe now comes into the pits for fourth. Third, fourth and fifth have all got front wing damage. As far as I can tell, only Bart Dude and Sir Lennox have not had damage so far this, and they are running first and second. I've either just